Patrick Ewing was always seen as a basketball legend, a towering figure of the NBA, and a symbol of loyalty to the New York Knicks. But behind the bright lights of the court and the roar of cheering fans, there was a side of his life that few people ever imagined. For more than 30 years, Patrick Ewing lived what many would call a double life, not in the sense of scandal or crime, but in the emotional, psychological, and personal struggles he kept hidden from the public eye. While the world celebrated his achievements, his all-star appearances, and his role as one of the greatest centers in basketball history, Ewing was quietly battling pressures that came with fame, expectations, and the burden of being a role model for millions. Growing up in Jamaica before moving to the United States, Ewing carried the weight of two worlds on his shoulders: the humble roots that shape his character and the massive expectations of becoming a global sports icon. On the court, he was fearless, dominant, and determined, but off the court, he often felt trapped between his public image and his private reality. As his career progressed, the pressure only increased. Every game was a test, every season a battle, and every loss a personal burden. Fans saw a confident superstar, but few realized how deeply he felt the criticism, the injuries, and the constant comparison with other NBA legends like Michael Jordan, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Shaquille O'Neal. Behind closed doors, Ewing struggled with the fear of failure, the loneliness of fame, and the challenge of maintaining a sense of identity beyond basketball. Even his loyalty to the Knicks, a team that never won a championship during his prime, became both a badge of honor and a silent source of pain. While the media portrayed him as a symbol of strength, he was quietly dealing with doubts about whether his sacrifices were worth it. After retiring from professional basketball, the double life became even more visible in subtle ways. To the public, Patrick Ewing remained a respected legend, a coach, and an ambassador of the sport, but privately, he faced the difficult transition from superstar athlete to ordinary life. Like many retired athletes, he had to confront the reality that fame fades, crowds disappear, and applause eventually stops. For decades, he had been defined by basketball, but when the game was no longer his daily identity, he had to rediscover who he really was. At the same time, he carried the emotional responsibility of family, community, and legacy, always trying to live up to the expectations placed on him by fans and history. What makes Patrick Ewing's story so powerful is not scandal but silence, the silence of a man who never publicly complained, never exposed his struggles, and never allowed the world to see his vulnerabilities. For 30 years, he balanced two lives: the legendary athlete everyone admired and the private individual who carried doubts, pressure, and emotional battles alone. Only now, as people look deeper into his journey, do they begin to understand that greatness often comes with hidden costs. Patrick Ewing's life proves that even the strongest heroes can have unseen struggles, and sometimes the most dramatic stories are not told through headlines, but through the quiet endurance of a man who refused to give up, even when the world never knew what he was truly going through.